Hey, it's Black Vader again. I'm reading a code. It's been a while, I guess, maybe a week or so. I'm just gonna get into it. This is Area 2 Education, page 109. Last video I had, I think my music was too loud, so I couldn't really read as much as I should have. So this time I'm gonna try to turn it down and be more presented to everyone. So we're going into Area 2 Education, and basically why white people haven't killed all black people. When talking about the most logical reasons why the white people of the known universe have not killed all of the non-white people, study and exchange views about the following statements. During the existence of white supremacy racism, the basic purpose for white supremacy racism is for white people to participate in the universal or internal enjoyment of subjugating, belittling, or generally mistreating non-white people. This cannot be done if all of the non-white people are dead. So, if we're all dead, who's going to do the work? Just like if there wasn't no Native Americans or even Aboriginal Africans within this country doing the work, you know, how are they going to build it? Number two, during the existence of white supremacy, the white people who desire to kill all of the non-white people fear to do so because they fear that great harm may come to them from whatever the source of all existence of all non-white people. I can agree with this. I think if all that small majority of white people, that less than 10%, less than 11% of white people that's on the entire globe end up killing everybody, there can only be a total disaster on their part. So they're like, I'm gonna ease up on this shit, but I'm gonna still do some slick shit on the low. It is possible that, number three, it is possible that another reason why some white people do not desire to kill all of the non-white people is because of the belief that if white people only that, well, it is possible that another reason why some white people do not desire to kill all of the non-white people is because of the belief that if white people try to reproduce themselves, do sexual activity with white people only, such activity may result in a form of white incest that may eventually lead to the disappearing of white people through the weakening and withering away. From what I get by this is that the white supremacist needs us way more than we need them. They can die out either through sunlight, natural causes, being gay, their fucking infrastructure, their political views, their actions and how they treat other people and how they treat society. The white supremacist only looks to control and take and dominate. And if you cannot control, take, or dominate, to them, it's literally a waste of time. There's a waste of existence, and it's just not fun, you know. So like even just going to the moon, black people, we can't even go to the fucking moon. We don't know what the fuck is on the moon, you know. Like we're still subjugated to the planes of this existence, while white people in other countries are all going to the moon, looking at shit, doing shit without the approval of the rest of the masses because they put themselves in charge through harmful and subjugation and conquering lands and stuff. So just for the black people, just for owning cars, we can't even own cars. We don't even have manufacturing businesses to develop our own cars to drive and stuff. And there's a lot of black people just on a road, just walking compared to a majority of white folks. There's tons of more white people with vehicles driving, getting things done, getting things accomplished every single day, while black people are just trying to walk and get to somewhere from point A to point B. But let me go back into the code. Ask white people who say that they do not want to do justice. Well, ask white people who say that they want to do justice to speak and act to stop making a language of health, medicine, chemistry, science, and law more complicating and confusing than necessary. One of the major characteristics of racist man and racist woman, white supremacists collectively, is to give non-white people information in a manner that is complicated, confusing, incompetent, and or harmful. And the manner in which they use words is one of the basic ways that they use this. Study fiction, stories from a person's imagination for the basic purpose of getting ideas about what they do or say and what not to do or say in order to produce justice, balance between people and correctness, balance between people, creatures, and things, etc. Notes. Among the people of the known universe, the white people have chosen to practice white supremacy. The white people who have chosen to practice white supremacy has proven to be the greatest producers of fiction stories, records of events that did not happen. Hollywood, that shit in Hollywood. I don't think that slap with Will Smith happened. It only showed one angle, and you don't even see it connect. And anyone who ever seen someone get slapped, you can hear a slap. That sounds like a punch. You hear that? You hear that, bruh. You hear his like boom, like. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. Especially you got big hands. I got big hands, bro. And you didn't slap him that hard? Get out of here. But let me just get off of that. Among the people in the known universe, white people have chosen to practice white supremacy, have proven to be the greatest producers of fiction stories, records of events that did not happen. The white supremacists produce and use fiction stories in order to get in the practice of thinking about making things happen that have not happened, but possibly could happen if they decide to make them happen. The white supremacists have become the masters of making things happen by first imagining that they could happen and or by imagining that they should happen. The white supremacists, more than any other people in the known universe, have become the masters of making fiction become fact. Much of the fact that the white supremacists produce from fiction is deliberately designed to produce to produce excitement, joy, skill, and thrills from the killing and the general mistreatment of people. Producing fiction stories about the variety of ways to mistreat non-white people for fun, glory, and material profit is a major form of educational entertainment for racist man and racist woman, white supremacists collectively. When people talk about the so-called white supremacists that non-white people should have, say the following: a so-called rite of passage for all non-white people should be at all times to think, speak, and act in a manner that results in the end of white supremacy, racism, and establishment of justice. When a non-white person tells you that he or she is smarter than a white supremacist racist, ask the following question: if you are smarter than a white supremacist, why does white supremacy continue to exist? According to compensatory counter-racist logic, the people who are smarter than a white supremacist should be the people who have ended white supremacy. People who are smart and intelligent do not tolerate being subject to white supremacy and are not subject to it. When talking about the name and or title of the books that are established to teach non-white people how not to be victims of white supremacy, say the following: schools that have proven that they teach non-white people how not to be victims of white supremacy do not exist. Even critical race theory, the fact that the things that black people in this country built up and are being argued about, and the fact that black people can't express themselves within the society in 2022 tells me that this world is racist, and white people are complaining about it. White people complain about their politics, their sex, their religion, where things are going. But as soon as a black person does any of this, it's a fucking problem. You know, and that's a problem to me, because aren't we all supposed to express ourselves? They talk about Will Smith getting mad at Chris Rock for saying something about his wife, but you're in fucking city council complaining about black people being mistreated wrong. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't fucking make sense. So it's all confusion. This whole world is confusion. Explanation. White supremacy racism exists. During the existence of white supremacy racism, every non-white person in the known universe is a direct or indirect victim of white supremacy. As long as every non-white person in the known universe is a direct or indirect victim of white supremacy, there is no proof that a school exists that teaches a non-white person how to not be a victim of racism, of white supremacy. Uh, da, 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 da. Seek to learn what you need to know from a source that is most able and most available. If a person who is best able to teach you a particular thing is a white person, seek to learn what you need to learn from that white person. If a white person says that non-white people are inferior but is willing to teach you something that you need to know, be willing to allow that person to teach you something that you need to know. Explanation. It is nice but not necessary for a person who is willing to teach you what you need to know to admire you for your looks or your intelligence. According to compensatory counter-racist logic, it is correct for any person to try to learn something of constructive value from all sources. This includes learning from people who, for whatever reason, have shown that they do not like other people. This includes learning from people who regard you with varying degrees of contempt or dislike. I probably learn the most from people who don't like me. Period. Everybody. I mean, the people who I want to be around the people who I want to be around is usually the people like I'm chilling with. I'm not learning so much because we're already know the same shit. We're already on one accord. But the people I tend to get not along with, but the people I learn from is usually people who are critiquing me, people who are looking down for me, or the people who are willing to help me based upon my experiences in life. I've met a lot of good white people who are willing to look out for me and to give me constructive information and guide me with an understanding of how to operate in this world through their actions and through what they and I would consider love or a mutual understanding. And just as much as black people as well. But, like Neely Fullers says, whether they like you or not, you can always be willing to learn from anybody. What else was I going to do? I think that's it. From teaching, telling. Yes. I think that's it. I think I go into more tomorrow. I think if I just give a little bit of time, a little bit every time, we'll be alright. So that was me reading Education, Area 2, page. Yeah, just one page. I just read one page today, and that'll be Area 2, Education. Why haven't white people killed everybody? And that's it. Talk to you guys later. You guys have a good life. Goodbye.